like to record the journeys of the certified PMP, especially on the first day, because on
Yes.
the first day the feelings are like most of my certified PMP they contact me and they are literally crying. They are literally crying, especially those people who joined my program in second or third attempt when they clear PMP and just you cleared PMP with all above target. So they cleared PMP with all above target. So they are literally crying. Like that is something that I just really adore, and that is something which really shows how much effort it takes to become a certified PMP, and you
That,
did that effort, and that effort is visible in your eyes how you
definitely.
PMP with all
Yeah.
above. So Tafkir, you have been following up the channel, you know how these journeys are recorded, so I'm giving you a space to share your journey in any way you like.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank you first, actually, before beginning, because your videos were really very helpful. They cleared my concepts, and definitely I'd like to thank you a lot because anytime I message you, no matter it's 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you replied me instantly, and you were always available. Then in the morning again at morning 6, 7 o'clock, I message you. You are still replying me. So thanks a lot for replying me, clarifying the doubts, and showing me the way forward. Actually, um, since I was receiving your replies also very early, and this also motivated me to keep continuing the study, and this way my continuity carried on. Um, to be honest, yeah, my journey was a little tough because I experienced a lot of issues. In this year, I lost my dad because of COVID, and my mom also was affected because of COVID, and I went through so many hardships. Then when I came back and started the journey, it was somewhere, I think September first week, I started actually the plan to start the PMP study. So actually it was just a high level plan and nothing was fixed. I thought I will just begin. Then I started to Google before I begin and started to look in the Facebook, and then I found your group. Then I found your some of your posts and some things, and you also posted about your videos on YouTube. So basically, what I did is um, I used to watch your journey video, and for instance, it is regarding the scope management or regarding cost management. First, I used to watch your video, then I used to read the PMBOK guide. So this way, understanding the PMBOK guide also made it easier for me because, of course, all the concept and the flow was clear because of your videos and the way you explained it.
Box 6 and box 7.
PMBOK 6. So, but not only PMBOK 6, I also refer to Agile Practice Guide also. So, but the information in the PMBOK 6 or Agile Practice Guide is very limited. It cannot answer everything.
It cannot answer anything.
Yes. So there were many missing gaps actually. There were many gaps in that, and that gaps actually were filled up because of your videos and because of your many of your. I also accessed all the coaching videos that you had posted already, and there are so many doubts. All everybody used to ask, and so many questions. That all was helpful actually. That paved the path. So that's how I did it actually. So
What
initially,
mocks
when
what mocks you used?
basically only two, Tradeb and your mock. These two mocks I use.
That's
And
it.
to be honest, yeah, to be honest, they were very, very helpful and very close to the real PMP questions.
So
Um,
I really remember when you got, I guess, 67% in the trade, and you asked me, is it good? Is it bad? I said, you can give the exam now. You can,
yes,
in my opinion, you are ready for the PMP exam. You have crossed, like in nowadays, Nowadays exam, if you are getting 65% in trading mocks and 70% in my mocks, that's the good thing for the exam. Okay, so let's dive deep into the exam. So exam are more relevant to trading or my mocks?
To be honest, it was a mixture of both these mocks.
Hmm.
To be very honest, it was a mixture of both these mocks, TDIP as well as yours. And the questions were very lengthy, actually, very lengthy. Especially the first part, the questions were very lengthy. Answers also were very lengthy. It took me when I saw the timer after completing the 60 questions, I was somewhere around 140 minutes. So 140 was the remaining time, and I was really thinking like whether I will be able to complete it or not. I was very doubtful about it.
Okay, and then how what was time management strategy?
Basically, I followed your advice. I read the last line first, and then the remaining question. Then I looked all the options and selected the best option. I went very slow, no matter even if it took me 140 minutes. I really went very slow. I read the question very slowly, peacefully, because I did not want it to repeat it again, and that was really helpful. And there is an option to highlight the text actually. I only use it for the first part. For other parts, I did not use the option to highlight. And yeah, that was the exam structure. And most of the question types were like, I can say 30% agile, 30% were hybrid, the remaining were from predictive. Mostly I had about 7 to 8 questions from risk management, about 6, 7 questions from cost management, then some from stakeholder and some from communication, and 1 or 2 questions from cost scope management as well. In closing, I think I had about 6, 7 questions from the closing group,
Okay,
and change requests were also about 5, 6 questions.
okay. Which area
Um,
like agile was exam was more towards agile or predictive?
it appeared like hybrid.
It's a period like a hybrid. That should
Yes.
be the case because exam should be more towards hybrid. Okay, and you have mentioned the remaining topics. What about the team? How much the exam was towards team
Oh,
resource?
about team, I can say it was 20 to 30% about team.
20 to 30%. So that now exam is
30% was.
now exam is kind of shifting it from the team because previous students you have watched the videos. Previous students have put it like 40 to 50% of the exam was more towards the team, but now if it is 20 to 30%, then it becoming more of a stable thing. Okay, what about stakeholder communication?
Stakeholder and communication questions were a lot, but they were actually not completely stakeholder or communication. They were mixed with other process groups. Like they were trying to confuse you, thinking that it is from stakeholder or communication, but some of them belong to risk area and some belong to the cost management.
Okay,
They
and
were
how
trying
did
to trick you into thinking that it is a stakeholder or communication, some of them.
how, how did you handle it?
Um, well, I look for the keywords and then eliminating the wrong question choices. Apart from that, especially because I solved most of the mocks, right? So that was really helpful, I think.
Okay, that was really helpful. What else was important in your exam?
I found something very strange, like especially choose 2 options or choose 3 options. So in such kind of questions, I had about 10 such questions. And
10
uh,
questions.
yeah,
That is too much.
yes,
That,
and the strange thing was like I thought the options will be only 4, but I had 5 options actually in all of this, and I had to choose 2 or 3 out of them.
okay,
And drag and drop, I had about 5 questions, 3 to 5 questions. Yeah,
okay. What else? Drag and drops were easy, or they were
um,
more of
two
a
of them
difficult.
were easy. 2 of them were really like if you knew the basics, you could do it.
If you know the basics, you could do it. Okay, that's a good point to understand. If you know the basic, one question, Tuckman letter was there in any way.
Tuckman ladder was, yeah, yeah. at least three questions were there from Techman Ladder.
we cannot share the real question, but the context is
Yes,
all like I'm a big fan of Tuckman ladder. Actually, nowadays I explain the entire PMP to the Tuckman ladder, how the teams form, storm. There are also other models that are very good, but Tuckman ladder is easy to understand and everyone can actually correlate their lives with
yes.
the Tuckman ladder. Okay, moving forward. Any formula question?
I had about three to four questions.
Okay, 3 to 4. And do you
They
have to
were
use a
from earned
calculator?
value,
Do you,
but
yeah.
not so extensive calculation, like basic calculations,
Okay. Okay.
like
Any
you need
question?
to find out over budget or within schedule or not. Only such kind of, not extensive calculation of
Okay.
BAC,
So,
EAC, or TCP.
any critical path question?
Yeah, about three critical path questions.
And do you have to calculate critical path into that, or just the context of uh, this thing, like what is critical, things like that?
Uh,
Like, let me put my question again. Do you have to make critical path in those questions, or the question was more asking the float,
um,
or
it
important
was
one that?
something like, yeah, they gave options and we had to select that. Like they were trying to ask you, like, what should they do like, I cannot tell you exact question, but something like what they should do to make it
That is
within the.
that is okay. That I totally understand. My question is actually, do you have to calculate the critical path there?
No, no.
That is an important thing. Basically, the same thing that I have been following the trend from few now time, that critical path, you don't have to calculate critical path. Even in my trainings, I have stopped teaching kind of critical path. I have a video on critical path from 2020, so I just share that video and tell them, okay, if you are interested for the knowledge, you can do that, because you don't get any question. But I'm extremely interested from that insight. If any question come in the upcoming batch that is going to start on 12th of November, I'm going to like add that thing. But of course, I put Pareto on preparation. That's how I get 7 days, 14 days, 21 days preparation. You know that. Okay,
Yes,
so putting forward further, so those of my book, you even reviewed one of them, the
yes.
team. So were that helpful?
Um, I can say, yeah, some of it was helpful.
Like some,
Um,
when you put some of it, so how further I can improve it?
like mostly, as you know, it concentrated mostly on Tuckman ladder, power and trust. So I think that has to be represented more inside the book about the power and trust
That
grid.
is actually presented in the stakeholder topic. You
Oh,
only
sorry, about the problem solving and this one, what do you call that? Um, the the way to solve the problem, like win
no, no,
lose.
how to solve PMP question or how to solve problem that occurs in the project.
Yeah, how to solve problems that occur in the project.
Okay, okay,
So
that is identify the solution. Okay, that I would add it. And other feedback if you have, do tell me. So Khalid is asking, were there any question from cost?
oh yeah, there were questions from cost.
There were
At
questions.
least I think 6 to 10 questions were on the cost.
That's a good chunk. That's a good
Yeah,
chunk. You put it.
I never
Uh,
expected, and it was my not my good area.
but you did that with all above target. So how many questions were from Shariar is asking how many questions from procurement and contracts.
About 2 3 questions.
So were there any question on agile contracts?
Yeah, there were questions. One question was 1 to 2 questions were there from agile contracts also. Yes.
One question, and that is an easy thing to answer. That's not a difficult thing to. Okay, so if anyone has another question, keep that coming. Okay, so Tafkir, your advice to the PMP aspirants, how they should prepare.
Um, of course, your videos definitely are helpful, no doubt about it, and no one can argue about it. And apart from that, of course, like I had viewed one video from your channel, which said that don't try to be perfect, and you were right. If you're trying to be perfect, you can never finish the PMP exam, never actually be ready for the exam. So when you feel you're ready, just go for it. Um, as you said, read slow, and that will be very helpful. Read slow. Remember the important keywords in your mind or highlight it. That will help to solve the question. The questions normally they are trying to trick it. Like the first line is something else, the second line is something else, and the last line is different, completely else. And the answers you see, all four of answers will be there. Like something that will resemble to the first line, something that will resemble to second line. So understanding that is important, and the last line, of course, is helpful because that results in the real answer.
So time management, how much that is important? 80-80-70 principle.
That really helps. Yes, 80-80-70 really helps. But
80.
what I did is I did not rush. I just went through my flow because um, the first part was really very lengthy and very hard. Answers and questions both were lengthy. It took me a long time. The second part was relatively easy. Then the third part was also again lengthy, very lengthy. So when I finished it, I only had 5 minutes left at the end of the exam.
Okay, okay. So that's an important thing. Any other thing that you would like to add?
No, I think that catches up everything.
That okay. So now you know my mantra in life. How I put it this way: each one teach one. Each one teach one. Now you did PMP. Many people helped you when you were doing PMP, and
Yes,
I would highly recommend that there are so many people who need help. Okay, I try to reach as many people as I can, but of course, uh, sometimes I could, sometimes I could not. So whoever reaches you, and there will be people. Let me put it this: people reaching to you, they will prefer reaching to you than they prefer reaching me. Why? You have the real insight of PMP. You did the PMP exam. So whoever reaches you, do teach them, do help them out, do work with them so that they can learn more, they can become better more, and do guide them. This is a very important thing. Secondly,
definitely.
very important thing, write PMP questions. You need 60 PDUs, so I can help you in that. I'm an authorized training provider, so that would go back in the give back community. So do write questions, share with that. I'm gonna use in coaching calls. That's how I do different questions in coaching calls. I ask people like you who are a certified PMP. They make question, do not real exam question, exam like question, and of course I will give the PDUs according to that. And finally, yeah, you work very hard. I know that. I know it very well.
Yeah,
So, Tawakeer Patel, now is the time to enjoy with your family. With
sure.
that, thank you very much for joining us and sharing all the information. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste.
Thank you. Bye.